40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
The third round of the Jordan Road Surfacing BTRDA Rally Series would head to Welshpool for the start of the Plains Rally, with scrutineering taking place in the town before heading into the forests, where the real action, of course, begins. Winner last time out Matt Edwards leads the strong entry away this weekend. Luke Francis looking to gain his first win at the wheel at that WRC Fiesta. Current championship leader Paul Bird and second place Stephen Petch start the event as car 3 and 4. From the streets to the forests, onto the stages then, and it would be the early lead in the event for Luke Francis and John Roberts. After 4 stages, the pair had an 8-second advantage going into the midway service point. Part of that advantage would be due to problems for Matt Edwards and Darren Garrett, I think it was fair to say, freewheeling through the later half of stage 1 and losing time. Thankfully, they replaced the broken wheel ready for the next stages, managing to end the morning with second place overall, still well and truly in the hunt for that win.
5 right, minus long, nips late, 82 right, and it opens for 60. Here's a 2 right, opens for 60, tightens flat 4, the left, tightens 4, long okay, and 60, turn hairpin right. Go 5 left, continues for 80, tightens fast 4, okay, opens for 80, stay out, tightens fast 3.
For Paul Bird and Jack Morton, it will be third. They end the morning 12 seconds back from Edwards. The championship battle still looking good with this result. But as we know, that pair would certainly be trying for victory. It doesn't end here. The gap, in fact, back to Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson will be exactly the same. 12 seconds between them and Bird now, lying just outside the podium places in 4th. And Sasha Cackard and James Aldridge would make a good start in the Fiesta. 5th place at this stage, just 5 seconds back from Petch. Meanwhile, it will be the lead in the NR4 class for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy at the midway point. A good start, seeing them take a 7-second advantage as the crews head into service. It wasn't without its moments though, as you might expect from a hard-charging crew such as Thompson and Murphy, going wide on one corner in stage 3 and just getting back on the line in time to avoid those big logs.
200, 4 right.
What's this?
This is a 4 right after this 200.
Yeah, no, you know.
4 right. Slow for a 4, okay. Then 300 up mid, that's it. Slow before. 6 right, half long. Immediate turn hairpin left.
6 right, mate.
6 right, immediate hairpin left. Into.
Second in that class were Tom Norton and Will Rogers. The times were close though. The battle would be on into the afternoon stages. And also getting a look in on that battle were Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence. Third in the class for the pair, just 11 seconds back from Norton. Richard Hill and Stefan Evans make a change from that class into the B13 class and into a Subaru. It was going well for the pair with the lead in the class after 4 stages. And second in B13 were Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere. Bad luck last time out hadn't put them off and hadn't taken the edge off that pace either. They get it right back up to speed, rounding out the top 10 as well at this stage. And for Peter Bayliss and Anthony Blythe, it will be third in that class, just outside our top 10 leaderboard in 11th place overall. The third stage of the day would provide one of our first retirements. Ian Joel and Graham Woods sliding off the road, unable to continue. So we're midway through the day then, and it's a new leader at the top of the results at this round. But with 4 more stages to go, it could all change this afternoon, and you wouldn't bet against it, not with this leaderboard. On to the afternoon stages then, and the attrition would start in earnest. We lose Tom Norton and Will Rogers. They go off the road in the 5th stage of the day, sadly requiring the ambulance. Dramatic and a bad impact, although they are both recovering well now, we're pleased to report. So there'd be change in the NR4 class. We see John Ross and Martin Oskarin stepping up to take third in the class. Peter Bayliss and Anthony Blythe also gain in the overall results, but not in the class, crucially. They end the event with third in B13, rounding out our top 10. No change either for Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere, making up for their misfortunes on the previous round, ending the day with second in B13, 9th overall. But that means it's victory for Richard Hill and Stefan Evans, first in the B13 class, 8th overall in the Subaru. The earlier loss of Tom Norton from the leaderboard means that Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence would step up to take second in the NR4 class by the end of the rally. Lawrence, of course, if you've been following us so far, beaten to the class victory by
4 left in half long, into 1 right plus, into crest immediate, 2 right plus, into 3 right don't cut, into 3 left, 2 right, into 1 left. Tight, into 2 left plus, 20 down, hairpin right. Don't cut, into 1 left, 4 right, 30, 4 left, opens, continues for 100, into 2 right, 30, 5 left, slowing, 40, slowing, square left, deceptive, fresh air, square left, 3 right, into 6 left over crest, mid, 20 down, 4 left, into 1 left tight, 1 left tight, 30, 3 left long, opens into middle over flat crest jump, and down, 350, 6 right through bump dip, 40, 5 left slowing, 4 right don't cut, hole inside, 80, down brake early, hairpin right, acute right, drop outside, don't cut, into 3 left, 4 right, max 30.
There's no change though for Sasha Kakad and James Aldridge going into the afternoon stages. They end the rally with that 5th place that they'd held for most of the day. Indeed, it's the same story for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson. They end the rally with 4th place overall, missing out on the podium by just 8 seconds. And in those podium places, there would be a little change, but not for Paul Bird and Jack Morton, remaining in 3rd place, unable to gain any more time on that lead in the final stages. For anyone else, we'd say that's a good result. We know that Paul Bird expects more from his performance. It is still, though, a good result as far as the championship points were concerned. There was change at the top though. Luke Francis and John Roberts unfortunately dropping down from the rally lead, having to settle for 2nd place. Still a great result for them, some great points for the championship, that battle hotting up as we go into the rest of the season. But that of course means it's win number 2 for Matt Edwards and Darren Garrett. A great comeback from their earlier problems to take victory by 20 seconds at the end of a hard-fought event. So confirmation then of the times at the end of the rally. That 3rd place for Bird, keeping him at the top of the points table going into the next round of the series. And once again, it will be the Rowlands brothers among the leading Silver Star contenders on the entry list this weekend. And indeed, it would be a family story on the stages as well, with the early lead in the event going to Ian Rowlands and Emir Hall. It will be a good one too, 50 seconds by the end of the morning stages. For John Rowlands and Glenn Latham, it will be 2nd. Not looking like they'd be getting anywhere near the lead at this stage, but that wasn't going to stop them from trying on home turf. For Owen McMacken and Barry Ferris, things were a little closer, just 8 seconds separating them from Rowlands ahead. 3rd place in the category, 2nd in the B12 class, and hoping to shake up that family affair. Max Utting and Mike Ainsworth make a good start to the rally to end the morning with 4th place overall. The Fiesta pair lying 2nd in the B11 class. Utting couldn't back off though, with Andy Davison and Tom Murphy just behind them in the class and overall results so far. 3 seconds the difference, so that result could go either way over the next 4 stages. And looking at this leaderboard, the same could be said for 4th place in the class, Rob Dennis with Simon Rogers alongside. They were actually on an identical time to Davison after 4 stages down. An extremely close battle then for those podium places in the class. Chris Powell and Jim Lewis would once again be mixing it up with the higher powered cars out on the stages. 7th place in the Silver Star results at this stage, and of course, leading the 1400 category in that Sunbeam. Meanwhile, it was a good start in the R2 Cup for George Lepley and Tom Woodburn. They lead the way there with a comfortable margin at the end of 4 stages. There's frustration though for Jack Lees and Michael Gilby when we lose them from the results, crashing out on stage 3. Both crew requiring medical treatment, but with the work of fellow competitors, marshals and rescue crews at the rally, that means the pair get the help they need and are on their road to recovery. Back to the leaderboard then, and it would be 9th place at this stage for Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine, the escort pair lying 3rd in the B12 class as well. And rounding out the top 10 were Ernie Graham and Robin Kellard. They lead the way in the H3 class in the escort as well. For Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth, it will be 2nd place in the R2 Cup, just over half a minute back from that class lead, but they'd be looking to gain some time back through the afternoon. 3rd in that class would be this man, Tommy Meadows, Emma Morrison alongside. Things a lot closer here, the pair just a single second back from Wells after 4 stages. And for Steve Ward and Mike Crawford, it would be 2nd place in the H3 class. The escort pair just less than a minute off the class lead. 3rd in H3 at this point, belonging to championship sponsor Barry Jordan and Paul Wakely. The Fiat 131 going well and looking resplendent out there on these classic Welsh stages. There'd be a good battle in the N3 class meanwhile, James Giddings and Sean Cunniff taking the lead there by 13 seconds. Martin Laverty and Phil Kenny have a good run over the morning stages to take 2nd place in that class for now. Their advantage in that position, however, would be a small one, just a single second ahead of Matt and Tim Tordoff, who take 3rd in the N3 class at the midpoint in the event. So we're 4 stages down. The results in the Silver Star at this point are showing that dominance from the Rowlands brothers that we're used to on this event. But with 4 more stages to go, who knows what the end result would be. On we go then to the afternoon stages, and there would be change in the H3 class. We see Jeremy Wells and Martin Saunders taking 3rd in the class by the end of the rally. Change 2 in N3, Ewan Tyndall and Paul Hudson moving up to take 3rd with 24th on the leaderboard.
Very slippy, beat 40 to right 3, into left 4, don't cut, into right 2, muddy, 60 to right 3, watch the camber, 40 down the hill, to tight left 5, 60 to left 8. 60 to left 8 here, 300 up the middle. 300 up the middle.
Unfortunately for James Giddings and Sean Cunniff, they were unable to hold that pace and keep the lead of the class to the finish. They have to settle for 2nd place this weekend, missing out on the victory by 7 seconds after breaking the lower engine mount and having to do the last 2 stages with a ratchet strap holding things in place. So that class would see another leader and eventual winner by the end of the day, Calvin Green and Ocean Owen, coming back from a slightly slower start to work their way up the leaderboard to the top of the class by the end of the rally. There's change in B10 as well, seeing Robert Smith and Frankie Hillman taking 3rd in the class by the end of the event. Barry Jordan and Paul Wakely gain a place in the H3 class through the afternoon after the loss of Ernie Graham from the class lead. 2nd place in the class, 16th overall. And of course, that means it's victory in the class for Steve Ward and Mike Crawford, 1st in H3, 13th overall in the escort. For Tommy Meadows and Emma Morrison, it will be a place gained, taking 2nd in the R2 Cup this weekend. A great event for the Fiesta pair in the end. On to the top 10 then, and it will be 10th place for the BMW of Colin Griffiths and Mike Wilding, just missing out on a podium in the B12 class in the process too. For Nick Dobson and Steve Pugh, it will be 9th in the category. the pair ending the event with 4th in B11. For Alan McDowell and Gavin Hesseltine, meanwhile, there wouldn't be much change. They gain a place overall to end the day with 8th, but their 3rd in the B12 class would remain much the same to the finish. George Lepley and Tom Woodburn maintain their good advantage in that R2 Cup place to take victory by the end of the rally. Some good points for the pair who hadn't planned on being here until the week before the event. That close B11 class then would eventually settle with Andy Davison and Tom Murphy taking 3rd place. There would only be 4 seconds keeping them from 2nd, a close end to the podium places in this class. Just above them on the overall results would be the 1400 example sunbeam of Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. Another giant-killing performance from the Herefordshire pair. Rob Dennis and Simon Rogers managed to gain places in the B11 class to end the rally with 2nd, as well as taking 4th overall in the category. And despite some movement around them, there'd be no change for Owen McMacken and Barry Ferris, ending the rally with the final step on the podium, 2nd in the B12 class. The afternoon, meanwhile, would give Max Utting and Mike Ainsworth a chance to gain some time on the overall and class results, ending the rally with a fantastic 2nd place in the Silver Star category. But there would be no doubting the pace from Yehan Rowlands and Emir Hall, taking victory this weekend by over 1.5 minutes. The return to the Escort after a few events in the Avenger certainly hadn't slowed them down. So confirmation then of the results in the Silver Star category, despite that dominance out front, as close and as exciting throughout the leaderboard as we've come to expect from this series. 4th overall for Dennis, securing him a small lead in that Silver Star Championship after round 3. As well as the usual contenders, the 1400 category on this weekend's Plains Rally would feature a few new and returning faces. Chris Powell and Jim Lewis lead the field away into the 8 challenging Welsh stages. Onto those stages then, from Welshpool, from the streets into the forests. It would be the lead for Chris Powell and Jim Lewis, 22 seconds of a lead in that place to be exact after the morning's 4 stages. For the hard-charging Dave and Toby Brick, it will be 2nd place, themselves a good advantage in that position. And things were going well for Kieran Darrington and Dan Niroda here at round 3. They get to the midpoint with 3rd in the 1400s, but would have to push a little more if they wanted to challenge for any more positions on the leaderboard. And in fact, not only that, they'd also have to watch out behind Richard Cole and Matthew Nicholas, just a single second behind in 4th. And a good push over the morning stages would see Chris Bush and Robert Smith taking 5th place overall at this stage. Only 9 seconds up to Cole ahead as well. Steve Black and Paul Williams, meanwhile, make a return to the stages in their Suzuki Swift. They end the morning with 6th place in the 1400s. It was 7th for Nigel and Karen Jenkins, actually on an identical time to Black up ahead in this stage in the event. And it will be close behind them as well. Stuart Spire and Peter Williams just 3 seconds back from Jenkins and lying in 8th place in the category. Perry Gardner and Andrew Sankey would be the only ones in the 1400 C class this weekend, so their fight would be in the category overall, 9th place for now. And rounding out the 1400s were Scott and David Sloan, frustratingly running under Super Rally, so they were a considerable way off those up ahead. In Rally First, it would be the lead for Richard Ingleby and Alex Booth. There may only have been 3 crews still running in the class, but it was one of the closest battles we've seen yet. Ingleby and Booth would be followed on the results by Matthew Badley and Jan Griffiths. A steady start for the pair would see them just 9 seconds back from our leaders. And just behind them in 3rd would be Guy Butler and Doug Chivers, themselves only a further 4 seconds back from the similar car up ahead. Unfortunately, particularly for the spectators watching this battle unfold, we'd lose one of our Rally First crews. Sam and Liam Johnson would get as far as stage 2 before the car gave up, forcing the pair to pull over and call it a day.
Sad times.
So we're midway through the rally, the results still looking open in both categories. That Rally First podium fight all coming down to only a few seconds. On to the afternoon stages then here at the Plains Rally. In Rally First, it will be third for Matthew Badley and Jan Griffiths. They lose out on second when they roll the car, but dramatically they manage to land on their wheels and get to the end of the event. How days of thunder. So that would of course mean a place gained for Guy Butler and Doug Chivers. Only the one place though, as the pair settle for second this weekend. They couldn't quite match the pace of our winners. That means it's victory for event-long leader Richard Ingleby, Alex Booth alongside. They have a great run, taking the win by 22 seconds. In the 1400s, there would, as you'd probably expect, be no change for Scott and David Sloan, running under Super Rally, meaning they remain in that final position on the leaderboard, the car clearly showing signs of their earlier problems. For Perry Gardner and Andrew Sankey, it will be 8th. The only competitors in the 1400C class, of course, so that victory was theirs, but they still had to battle all the conditions that the Plains Rally had to throw up. Stuart Spire and Peter Williams end the rally with 7th place, the pair with a good advantage in that place by the finish as well. And it was a strong end to the rally for Steve Black and Paul Williams, reaching the finish with 6th place overall back in that Swift. Unfortunately for Kieran Darrington and Dan Niroda, they couldn't hold the pace, not managing to hold on to their earlier podium place, slipping down the results to take 5th by the end of the rally. Some of this shake-up in the results will be down to the loss of Chris Bush and Robert Smith. They break a ball joint in stage 6. The time changing it mid-stage would put them OTL. So for Richard Cole and Matthew Nicholas, there would be no change. They remain in 4th place to the end of the rally in that Escort. Nigel and Karen Jenkins have a great afternoon to end the event with the final step on the podium. A good push through the afternoon, gaining them a handful of places on those overall results. There'd be no change at the top though. Dave and Toby Brick settling for that 2nd place that they'd held all morning. A good result for the championship points. It would, though, be a great rally for Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. They make it 2 wins this season, making up for that non-finished last time out on the Rally Nuts stages. So there's your confirmation then of the results at the end of round 3. Powell's result, putting him 2nd in the championship standings, but it's Perry Gardner topping the points at this stage in the series. Next up, the championship heads to Carlisle. Carlisle stages, in fact, the first venture out of Wales for the crews and a different challenge to those Welsh stages. We'll of course be there to bring you all of the action, and like me, I'm sure you're hoping that that leaderboard and the battles throughout are just as close as we've seen here at the Plains. In the meantime, you can catch up with any of the championship so far on our social media. Thank you for watching Special Stage.
Here, 40 for Rateable Crest Titans.